Hi everyone, hope you're well. Today we're taking a look at everything on offer in the Season 1 update for Modern Warfare and some first impressions. There's some really chunky stuff in here and I think it's a good start to the live service model of the game. Before we do that though, I'm running a sponsored competition with Activision called Clan Tag Clash. This is an opportunity for you to win some prizes by sending me your best kill feeds and clips. The rules are simple. Go into the game and change your clan tag to FRGS for frags. To do that, go to Barracks and Identity. It's in there. Start recording with that clan tag on. Pull off some clips and send them to me on Twitter using the hashtag MWJackFrags. I will then pick the top clips from the valid entries and the top 3 places will win the following. First place wins a PS4 Pro, second place gets a Scuff controller and Astro headset, and third place wins a Scuff controller. Pretty cool competition. It starts right now, Sunday the 8th, and it runs until next Sunday the 15th. And a big thanks to Activision for sponsoring this one. Right then, moving on. The Season 1 content drop for Call of Duty Modern Warfare was a big one. In fact, it claims to be the largest free update in Call of Duty history. If you have access to the game, then you can jump in and play the content right now. And here's what you can expect from Season 1. First of all, we know there's a brand new ground war map, and it makes sense for me, I think, to start with this because, of course, the ground war maps are something that I'm personally really interested in. I'd say the new one is okay. It's called Port, and it's a relatively linear map set in, you guessed it, a port. This means lots of containers and warehouses in the middle of the map, surrounded by a few cranes and a large overpass bridge that runs the length of the map. This map has some pretty long sight lines and lots of buildings that you can get on top of and wreak havoc. I enjoyed the time I played with it so far. You do get killed by kill streaks an awful lot though at times because of the amount of open ground, so if you want to succeed, remain indoors as much as possible. And then we've got new smaller maps, but none of them are actually new. Does that make sense? The biggest one is Crash, the fan favourite map from the original Modern Warfare game, is now available to play. And on release, there was a Crash 24/7 playlist that I just jumped on and I couldn't get enough of it. When COD 4 was out, Crash was one of those maps that a lot of players gravitated to because it was a great map for warming up and just getting straight into the action. I wasn't sure exactly how well it would play on a different version of the game, different engine with mechanics, but thankfully, it works really well. I was pleasantly surprised. It also bodes well for a lot of the other remastered maps that we're rumoured to be getting down the line. There are a few small changes to the map here and there to help the flow, but if you played a lot of COD 4, you will instantly be at home with this one. And then we've got 2 other maps listed to be joining Crash, but neither of these are actually in the game just yet. We have to wait until later in Season 1 to get stuck into Vacant and then Shipment. Interestingly though, Vacant is technically already in the game. When you play Port, the new ground war map, there's a flag called Vacant, and it actually features the majority of the Vacant map, including the outside containers, warehouse and office section. I didn't realise at first until I ran through and thought, that looks familiar if you caught my first live stream, and I know that a lot of people would love for this map to just be added to the game straight away, but sadly we'll have to wait a bit longer. When it comes to Shipment, well, that's also a classic map from the original Modern Warfare game, and this one's had a much needed facelift to bring it into 2019 and a few changes by the looks of it too. Those of you that remember Shipment will know that it wasn't really a proper map as such. It was practically a small square that you would just load into and do a mad free-for-all. It was popular though, and so it looks like this will be available for the smaller modes, including Gunfight. And speaking of Gunfight, more maps for that too. Added into the game right now are Atrium and Cargo. Now, Cargo is not to be confused with the Black Ops 2 map of the same name. This one is brand new, but it feels like you've seen it before, right? And that's because it's based on the COD 4 prologue. If you've played through the COD 4 campaign, the very first mission that you do is called Crew Expendable, which has you infiltrating a cargo ship and then subsequently running for your life as it sinks. Well, that later turned into a map called Wet Work, but that featured the upper levels of the ship. Cargo, on the other hand here, is one of the areas that you run through during the single player level, and I've played this a bit. I think it's perfect for gunfight. All of the containers that block your vision make a pretty interesting map tactically. It's quite a hard one to play at first because there's so many angles and it's easy to get flanked, but also quite satisfying when you pull off a sick play. Atrium, on the other hand, I didn't like so much. There's a central square in the middle of the map with a bit of cover, but then there's an outside lane that goes all around the map with just a few pillars. It's fine for what it is, but I can't say it's one of my favourite gunfight maps. There are more gunfight maps meant to be coming during Season 1, but we don't have the details on the rest of them just now. Okay, so that's at least 4 maps in the game right now, with plenty more on the way during Season 1. That's already a good amount of content, and they're drip feeding more as the season goes live. But we're not done just yet. We've also got a brand new game mode in the game called Reinforce, and this has been a limited time mode in previous Call of Duty games. I think it was in Ghosts and Infinite Warfare, but it tried to blend domination with search and destroy. I didn't like it at first, but after playing it a bit, it's definitely grown on me. Each team has 4 players. There are 3 flags, just like domination, A, B and C. When you die, you're out of the round temporarily. But if your team manages to capture a point, then all of your teammates that are dead will respawn back into the game. It reminds me of a game mode from Insurgency. Now, if one team captures all of the points or all of your teammates are eliminated, then you lose the round. You swap sides though, as it's round based, and you do have a chance to get back into the game before one team reaches the score limit. There's also a variation of gunfight in the game called Gunfight Osp. OSP is an acronym for on-site procurement. And we had this in the beta, and what it means is that instead of spawning with a set loadout in the 2v2 mode, you instead have to go and find weapons on the map. And they can be found on the wall, kind of like they are in Zombies, or on the ground. Essentially, there are items dotted around the map, loot like pistols, SMGs, grenades, and you've got to pick them up and achieve the same goal, killing the other 2 players before they kill you. But you only start with your fists, so you better be quick to find a gun. There's also another mode coming at some point during the season called Infected. Not in the game just yet though, but when it does arrive, it will put infected players against survivors as they try to knife opponents to convert them into their ranks. It's a bit like the old Halo mode. So far in the new season, we've got a couple of new weapons too. With this patch, there are 2 new guns that have been added into the game. You do have to work towards them in the Battle Pass to get them. More on that in a bit, but they are free. The new guns are the Ram 7 Assault Rifle and the Holger 26 LMG. I spent quite a bit of time with both of these in the last couple of days, and I've liked them both. Surprisingly, the Holger 26 turned out to be a bit of a favourite of mine. I wouldn't normally bother with LMGs that much in Call of Duty, but I think this one, you can actually turn it into some really interesting variants, including a G36 depending on how you customise it. When you get it set up right though, it's really nasty and it drops people at range. I'd recommend trying it. The Ram 7 on the other hand, really nice looking weapon. It's a bullpup rifle and at close to medium ranges it's devastating. The description for this gun says it's perfect for aggressive and determined operators, and I tend to agree. It's really strong up close and I think it's definitely a contender for best assault rifle with the M4. So how do you get these weapons? Well, first of all, they are Battle Pass weapons, but you don't need to spend any money to get them. They are free. Thank you, Infinity Ward, for doing this. Just progress through the Battle Pass by playing until you get to them. The Holger 26, that's available at tier 15, and then the Ram 7 is available at level 31. It will take you a bit of time, but at least it's free. If you don't want to grind them, you can of course buy the Battle Pass with the first 20 levels already unlocked, but of course that's your call. And speaking of the Battle Pass, this is a brand new system that lets you progress separately to your officer and enlisted ranks. By completing ranks, you gain items such as weapons, cosmetics, charms, and even weapon blueprints. You also gain enough Call of Duty points during the season, assuming that you get to the max Battle Pass rank, to allow you to buy the next season's Battle Pass. That's kind of cool. If you choose to purchase the Battle Pass, you will gain the new operator for Season 1 for free, Mara, and she's based on a real person called Alex Zedra. She joins the Coalition Forces as a Warcom member. It's important to remember though that there are 3 tiers in the Battle Pass that anyone can earn regardless of if they buy the Battle Pass or not. The 2 new weapons are included in this. Along with all of that content, there's also a new Spec Ops experience if that's your thing. There are 2 more operations and 3 classic Spec Ops experiences in the game to try out. I've still not actually played Spec Ops yet, so I might dive into this soon and make some content on it. We'll see. In conclusion, this is definitely a big content drop, but of course not all of the content is in the game just yet. I know they put out that nice picture with all the stuff coming in Season 1, but it's being drip fed as the season goes on, as is expected, to be honest. No surprises there based on how other games are doing their Battle Pass, but there will be plenty of new maps and weapons for players to get stuck into over the Christmas holiday period. And that's all for today, folks. Do let me know your thoughts on Season 1 down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Remember, if you're interested, get your submissions in for the Clan Tag Clash. A couple of really cool prizes there, and I'd love to see how good you guys are. You're probably a lot better than me because I'm finding Modern Warfare really difficult at the moment. I don't know if it's the skill-based matchmaking or maybe I'm just slowing down, but I have to try really hard if I want to do well nowadays on this game. It's difficult, especially on PC. With that said, if you liked this video, leave a like, thank you. That would be appreciated. If you didn't like it, dislike it, not a problem. Subscribe for more, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.